Morning, folks. I'm Sweet Melba. Thanks for joining me on the Melba's Gone Rogue channel. So today's a big day. It's the 2 months of my being on YouTube on the main channel, which is AKA Sweet Melba. So pretty good. So I've got we going over some stats on that. So just to give an overview for those that are new. The Melba's Gone Rogue channel, this is my YouTube channel about me becoming a YouTube content creator. And I do all my analysis, stats, goals, achievements on this channel. And it all relates to my main channel, which is AKA Sweet Melba. So I'll have a link here and it'll be in the description as well as the logo for that channel. So yeah, so today is, well, I should say yesterday, October 6th was my 2 month mark for the main channel, aka Sweet Melba. So I'm going to do my stats just a little bit differently than I have in the past, but I'll get started with those. I hope you have your coffee or whatever your beverage is. This is a once a week video in our robes, coffee, tea, whatever you're having. And it's just a chat about being a new content creator and how it's going and what I'm learning and where the challenges are and moving forward. So, yeah, so thanks for joining us. I'm glad you found the channel. I hope you will subscribe to the channel. That'd be great. I know there's a lot of us out there who are trying to do this YouTube thing, so giving it our best shot. So, anyways, again, thanks for joining me. So, let's get to the analytics. So I have all my notes lined up that I wanted to highlight. So again, 2 months as of yesterday, October 6th, I started the AKA Sweet Melba channel on August 6th with my first video and the stats analytics for the first 2 months. So I have a total of 6 subscribers to the AKA Sweet Melba channel. And again, I encourage you to go over to that channel so you kind of know what I'm talking about. I'd love to get people's feedbacks and comments and whatnot. So far, I really haven't gotten any comments, so I'm really looking for some feedback too. So anyway, AKA Sweet Melba. So a total of 6 subscribers. I've done 8 videos and 12 shorts. And as I have been saying on all my previous videos for this channel, shorts, really, I'm really just using those as intros to my full-length videos that are on the AKA Sweet Melba channel. So really promotional. So just clipping out segments that I think are kind of highlights from those main long-form videos. So again, 12 of those shorts. So I have a total over the first 2 months of 19 hours watch time and a total of 1,200 views. And of those, the videos are 128. So, as I always say on the my videos, shorts just, they get the views. That's where people are watching, but it's just such a tidbit. And as of yet, I really haven't seen a lot of carry over to the long form. I did get 2 new subscribers through the shorts, so that's good. So I can't knock that. So anyway, impressions on the videos. I've had a total of 3,004 impressions on those videos, on those 8 videos. The average click-through rate is 2.8%, so 3%. The average view duration is 7 minutes, 7 seconds. And that is an average of 36% on the average view duration over those 8 videos. So last week on my review, I pulled up my top 10 content, of which 8 were shorts and 2 were videos. But today, what I'm really, really trying to use those analytics to kind of give me some feedback as to what seems to be working if I can make sense of this. If you have thoughts, please share in the comment. I'd love to hear what you've learned and what you kind of get from some of these statistics as well. So I'm just going to focus on the videos. So the video I did last week was released on Saturday. Today is Tuesday that I'm filming. You'll be watching this on Wednesday. Anyways, my last video was released on Saturday. And it so far has gotten the most views of all of my videos. It has 34 views and an average view duration of 22%. But a click-through rate is really low, 1.4% on the click-through rate on that one. But it's at the top of the list because of the number of views. But yeah, so that's number one. Number two on my best videos is my video about going to Burning Man, and tips, suggestions, things of that nature for those that are considering going to Burning Man. I've been 4 times. I don't go anymore. It's been a number of years since I've gone. But, anyways, that has 21 views. And then number 3 on the list of the top 10 videos is my career path video, which was my video just before this most recent one. And that one had 13 views, average view duration of 26%. Oh, the Burning Man had a 25%. So we're kind of all in the 20% range. So certainly not high. If, I think generally it recommends somewhere between 50 to 70% is considered a good average view duration percentage. So falling short on that. And then my number 4 is my video on being 50 something, since I'm 50 something. That had 12 views. Then next in line is the Cracker Barrel video about life lessons you can learn from a Cracker Barrel. That was 11 views. That one had a higher average view duration at 40%. I think that's because it was Cracker Barrel. People were interested in that, right? At the time that I released that. Next is my video about what is a life well lived mean to you. That one got 10 views and an average view duration of 28%. Next, the number 7 ranked video is early retirement in 7 steps. Since my husband and I are semi-retired, not fully retired, but semi-retired, that only got 5 views. And that was my second video that I had done. But it had an average view duration of 41%, so that was good. And then the number 8 ranked is my 12 life categories in terms of an overview of assessing, life well lived. That got 5 views. Average view duration is the highest, actually, at 56%. So interesting. Anyway, so those are my top videos over again on the AKA Sweet Melba channel. So some highlights from that. So if you look at the number of views, as I said, my most recent one, which I didn't say what it was about living alone or married life. I lived alone for about 15 years. Then I got married, so it's kind of the story of that. It's in 2 parts. This was part 1 that was released and got the 34 views. Then the Burning Man video had 21, and then the career path had 13. And then click-through rate, the top 3 was the video 50 something at 14%. And then, which is pretty high, 14%. The Cracker Barrel had a 9% click through, and the career path and the 12 life categories, they tied for third at 6%. So those are pretty good click through rates on that. There is nothing unique, I don't think, about the thumbnails for those. I don't see any distinguishing component here of the thumbnail attracting more views or click-through rate or anything, so I'm not seeing that. The titles, maybe, but again, I think Burning Man is popular, Cracker Barrel was popular, so I don't have a real clear But I have been working on my titles to try and get a little more of that curiosity, or I really haven't found that, a fear of missing out component in my videos yet. So my average view duration, my top threes are my 12 live categories, like I said, which had the least number of views at 5, but the click through or the average view duration is 56%. My early retirement video was 41% average view duration. And then the Cracker Barrel was 40%. So people were interested in watching those a little bit longer. And I don't think I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in my goals for next week, but I don't think my style of presenting is any different in those videos. I think it's the same format. I really haven't changed that up in these first 8 videos. So, again, I think it's probably just the content in terms of the subject matter, possibly. So, trying to make sense of all this is a little challenging. So I'd appreciate your all's thoughts. Although it's clear that the most of my average view durations are in the 20s, which isn't very high. So just not holding people very long. So again, I'll talk about that in a minute. Some ideas I have for that. And then the other interesting thing I wanted to look at was the number of impressions that the videos got. So I went with my top 4. So my most recent one, the Living Alone or Married Life, has gotten by far the most impressions, which was 1,900 impressions. My Burning Man video got 376. So, like I say, a huge difference there. Career Path video got 161 impressions, and Life Well Lived got 146. So, again, clearly the Living Alone Married Life got the most impressions. So, the question naturally is why? Why did it get more impressions? So, is it the topic, living alone? Certainly, that's a pretty popular topic that I see in my feed. But again, being 50 something, I think that might be that component there. So, that might be insightful. I don't know that it's the married life component, but we'll see, because part 2 of that video will be focused on deciding to get married, uh, pros, cons, things of that nature. So I've been married for 18 years. So anyway, so it'll be interesting to see. So is it the topic, the living alone, that caused YouTube to put it out more impressions at 1,900 compared to a Burning Man at 376, and then going down from there? So maybe so. That's really the only thing that really comes to mind there, because the click through rate on that was so low. The click through rate on that was 1.4. So it wasn't that. The thumbnail looked the same as all the other ones. So it's got to be the title, right? It's got to be the subject matter. So again, insightful. So anyway, so those are the highlights for the past 2 months, my first 2 months of the AKA Sweet Melba channel. So I'm hopeful. I mean, I think I've seen the numbers kind of increasing. This most recent one, with the most so far, and moving forward. So again, that's the stats on that. And I invite you, if you've been on YouTube, you're new. What did your 2 months look like? First month, if you only been on a month, 2 months, 3 months, I'd be curious. Again, I'm really hoping to develop a community of us new YouTubers who are kind of following the R.O.G.U.E principle, right? Real, original, genuine, unique expression. So that's what R.O.G.U.E stands for me. So, anyways, I'd love to have people join. So, if you want to subscribe, I'd love it. If you enjoyed the video today, thumbs up, that'd be great. But I'd love to get some comments and have people share their experience and how it's going for them. So, yeah, so I appreciate if you can do that. That'd be great. So, I always try and do a kind of an accountability of my previous week. I kind of set goals for each week on what I'm looking to do. And so last week was week 4, and that week 4 references the start of this channel, which is the Melba's Gone Rogue. It has been up for a month now. So I'm not going to go into my Melba's Gone Rogue analytics today. I'm just going to mention a couple things. we'll revisit that in the next video. I really wanted to focus on that 2-month mark. So week 4. So my goals in week 4 were to do one full-length video for both this channel and aka Sweet Melba, which I did. The one for this channel from last week got 7 views, so not a lot of views. But my other goals were I was going to do 2 shorts for the AKA Sweet Melba and 2 shorts for this channel, which was a first for this channel. I had not done any shorts to promote this channel in the long form videos like this one today. So that went pretty good actually. So the one stats I did want to give. So the 2 shorts that I did for this channel, the first one got 209, so not a lot of views, but it had a 44% average view duration, so that's pretty good. And then the second one that I did, which was 2 days ago, yeah, I want to say 2 days ago, has gotten 549 views, and the average view duration is 106%. I don't know how you get the 106%, but anyway, so and that one, what I pulled out on that for that short was my conversation from last week about how to think a little bit more, better prepare for who am I talking to? Who is my audience on the AKA Sweet Melba channel? So I talked a little bit about that last week, so you can go back and look at the week 4 video. So I go into a little more detail about that. And I'll pick that up here and again in a minute because it's part of my goals for week 5 too. And then my other goals last week was I had a Facebook channel and a Instagram for the AKA Sweet Melba channel. And so I really hadn't done a lot over there. So I wanted to do a post and some reels on the Facebook as well as on the Instagram. And so I did accomplish that. So I did do all of my goals from last week. So the Facebook reel, I did 2 of those. One got 33 views, the other one got 23 views, no comments. And then on Instagram, one post, which was a reel over there too, I guess is the same thing, I think, right? Um, 20 views, and the second one got 21 views. So again, they're getting some content. So I'll continue to do that. I'll probably just do one a week, probably going forward on that to see if any of that drives anything over to YouTube. It's hard to really tell at this point since my numbers are relatively low, but I'm hoping the analytics are going to kind of show a little bit of where some of those viewers are coming from, like external coming over to YouTube, I hope. So we'll see about that. So yeah, so I feel pretty good with what I said I was going to do for week 4. So I accomplished all of those, and it's in the mix, right? Okay, so week 5. So week 5 is this week, starting today. And so, again, picking up on the topic of audience. So that continued to be my thoughts for last week as I was doing all of this and kind of processing that. You know, um, I'm 50 something. And as I mentioned last week, my AKA Sweet Melba account or channel is really about a life well lived, kind of a life review, sharing life lessons, life stories. And I was kind of leaving it fairly broad, right? That it wasn't to any particular audience. And, and looking at some of the education on YouTube channels and whatnot, and I'm a follower of Think Media. Just a shout out to them. I continue to enjoy Sean's videos. So thank you, Think Media. That's my primary one that I watch. I've pretty much weeded everybody else and stick with them. So anyway, so the audience piece still continued to be a consideration for me. And, I'm wondering if I just really need to, at this early stage, just really kind of narrow in on a particular audience. And let's say it's going to be 50 something. How many of us, because there's a lot of us that are 50 something, and at this point in your life, are you kind of looking back on what you've accomplished, what you still want to do in your life? So I'm thinking I may get more focused in my videos on the main channel about talking to that 50 something audience specifically. I'm working that into my titles a little bit more. I have been using it in my descriptions, doing those long phrase search terms and things like that, looking at that. So I think that's what I'm going to do with my next videos coming up, and to kind of see if that helps in terms of number of impressions, number of views, and kind of see how that's going. So that's my thing for this coming week, is to keep focusing on pinpointing this audience for the channel. So and then again, my to-dos, I will have this video obviously on this channel. I will do another short for this channel. I'll have another video on the AK Sweet Melba, which will be part 2 of the living alone or marriage life or married life. So that'll be my video. And then the other thing I think I'm going to try this week on the main channel, I may try to do a live session. And I was kind of playing around with the idea of Sunday on the porch. I do all my filming on my porch in my rocking chair. And I have a video or a short about why I do that. So you might want to watch that over on the other channel. But I'm thinking I may try a live session of Sunday on the porch and just be, you know, reflective on this audience component of talking to 50 somethings. I think that may be my focus there. And then just kind of highlighting, where my video direction is in that context of being 50 something, reviewing your life. If you lived a life well lived, what are you still wanting to do? What are some of the life lessons? So that may be what I'm going to focus on that. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So again, if you're interested in that, I'd love some feedback again from folks. That will be more than likely, that's going to be on Sunday this coming week. So that's like what is that, the 12th? Am I off on that? Might be the 12th. So anyway, so you may want to subscribe to the AK Sweet Melba, get the notification set up so you can see that live shot. I'm thinking it would be maybe like 1 o'clock ish Pacific time on that. So keep an eye out for that. So I'm going to give that a shot. One of the things that kind of made me start thinking about that was, YouTube's information that they put out about, what people are watching, what they're doing. 30% of the views are live stream views. And that's a big population. So whether those are younger folks or older folks, I don't know. I didn't hear any information about that, but I think I'm going to give it a try this week on Sunday. So I hope you'll join me over there on AKA Sweet Melba for Sunday on the Porch. So those are my to-dos for week 5. So that's going to be it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the discussion today. Again, I hope you subscribe to the channel, like the video. Same on the AKA Sweet Melba. If you'd like to follow along as to what this discussion on this channel relates to, which is all over there. And I think that'll do it. So have a good day. Thanks again for watching. I'm Sweet Melba. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.